If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.
I think what he's done, he's removed all the people that might have cast a dissenting vote.
Okay.
So now there's no Bill and Chris Polian.
It's just him.
There's no Jim Caldwell. There's nobody else. He's wiped out all the medical staff, all the training staff. So anyone that might have said, you know what, I think he's healthy. I think he can make the decision. When you remove all that, it tells me you bring in a first-year head coach, a first-year general manager. It tells me they're moving in a different direction.
Yeah, no question. Shannon Sharpe, you have an opportunity to watch Sunday's big game with Shannon Sharpe, courtesy of KFC. We'll give you all the details on that in just 1 second. Shannon, I got to talk to you about Ray Lewis and Ed Reed. And too, I know you never played with Ed, but certainly someone that you would know from being around. These two guys, they come to the end of their career. I think it's very clear that this is the end of the run. They have both fallen off a bit in different ways. Not that they're unproductive, they're just not who they were at one point. How difficult is this at this point of your career to be in these shoes and say, I still know I'm a good football player, and not know what the best thing is to do for yourself, for the team, for everyone along those lines?
Well, the thing that I've always shared with Ray, I said, Ray, you always want to leave 1 year early instead of 1 year too late. I said, I left the game and I had almost 800 yards receiving and 8 touchdowns, but I wanted people to think that I could still play. I didn't want people to say, well, you know what, he limped out of the game. A guy only caught 12 passes his last year in the league, and he was a shell of himself. I wanted people to think that I could still play.
Why'd you do that, though? Was your health in question, or you just felt like...
No, I felt good.
Right.
I wanted to play 1 more year, but CBS made me an offer I couldn't refuse. So with that given, I said, okay.
Yeah, you didn't refuse it.
No. And see, here's the thing, and I think this is a decision that all great players must...
Now, you would say this to Ray if Ray called you.
And Ed, at the end of the day, if you play another year, you go to another Pro Bowl, you win another All-Pro, you win another Super Bowl, would that change anyone's perception of you as a player? And when I really sat down and thought about it, I said, if I win 4, that's not going to change anything. Some people are going to say, you know what, he was a hard worker, he played the game the way it was supposed to be played. Some people are going to say he was a loudmouth. I hated him. All he did was talk and blase. So I didn't really think I could change the perception of certain people. Certain people had a perception of you. That won't change whether you win another Super Bowl or go to another Pro Bowl. And I think deep down, those are the questions. Ray, you got a Super Bowl win, you got Super Bowl MVP, you're 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. You're arguably, there's a very short list when you talk about the greatest defensive players that have ever played the game. He's at the table. And I played with him. I played with Rod. I played against Bruce Smith, Reggie. I played against some of the best. He's on the short list with the greatest players that I've ever seen play.
Different for Ed, having not won a Super Bowl, that maybe it really would change him if he were to come back. It's worth continuing to pursue.
I still think he's the first ballot Hall of Famer. He's the most dynamic safety that's ever played the game. Nobody could impact the game quite like Ronnie Lott was a bigger hitter, but nobody could take the ball away like this kid could. He was unbelievable, and because he was so reckless in his play, diving over the top of people, getting one-handed interceptions, that's kind of taking its toll on his body. He's not that same player that can fly around and make those dynamic plays. He still can get the ball now. Hey, you have to be careful. You still have to game plan for he and Ray. But by the time, some of us, by the time it goes like this, and sometimes you just go off a cliff. You look at Sean Alexander, he was the MVP, and the next year he just drove off a cliff. Some guys, it's gradual, but you never know. And Ray says he wants to come back. I would never dissuade anyone, because once it's over, it's over.
It's over, right?
So just make sure you thought about this. This is the direction you want to take your life in, because there's no senior circuit. This is not golf. You don't retire from the PGA and then go to the senior circuit. You play football. Once it's over, it's over. And I think he's made the decision that he wants to come back for 1 more year, and I'm sure he'll train and do the rigors of getting his body in the best possible shape to give himself and the Baltimore Ravens the best chance to get to a Super Bowl.
What do you think about our 2 tight ends?
I like them. And had a little talk with them when I was up there doing the piece with Ray. you can win with those guys. You have some things you can build on.
They're different too, right? I mean, it's interesting because Dixon's a little bit more like you, I would think, and Pitta, who really had a big year this year, really good hands. I guess the one thing I would ask you, because Dixon had some problems holding on to the football, did you see anything in his technique or style that you would say, Ed, one of the reasons why I think you're not holding on to the ball is because of this?
Well, sometimes I think guys get caught up when they watch other tight ends and they see the big numbers they're putting up. You get caught up and you have to realize who you are and what you are. I said there are no unimportant catches. So you have to pick and choose when you think you can make a play, catch the football, and turn and get 30 or 40 yards or a touchdown. I said sometimes you just have to catch the football and go down. And that's the biggest thing. Catch the football. You can't score a touchdown if you don't have the ball. Regardless of what position you play, if you don't have the ball, you can't score. So I think those are some things that he needs to work on, his hand-eye coordination. But I don't really see that being a problem. I think you can definitely win with those guys. Joe Flacco is a young guy that you can build an offense around, and I think they've done a great job of that. So are they going to be Gronkowski and Hernandez? I don't know to that extreme, but I think definitely they're definitely 60, 70 catch tight ends in the National Football League.
Shannon, I'm glad you brought Joe Flacco up because the Ravens have a big decision to make this offseason. He's not a free agent, but he's going into the final year of his rookie deal. You have him under control. You have the ability beyond that if you wanted to franchise him, or he clearly wants a new contract, as every player wants in this situation. If you're the Ravens, is it time to just say, we've got to lock it up and say he is the guy, he's our quarterback, let's go with him?
I believe you have to. The mistake that the Colts made is that they always let Peyton Manning ink run out on his contract.
Right.
So this is the problem that you run into now. You let this guy's contract run out, and he throws for 4,000 yards and 35 touchdowns. Now you just turn possibly a $10 million guy into a $16, $17 million guy. So you have to be really careful. I think he's proven. And I think the problem that the Ravens have is that they know he can do it. We just need to see the consistency, Joe. If we get that Joe Flacco that we saw in the championship game, the Ravens going to be in business for a long period of time.
What was the difference? What clicked for him in that game that made him so good against the Patriots?
Well, that was a horrible defense.
The one that's in the Super Bowl too, right? That's the funniest part.
That helped. But I think he threw with confidence. I think he went out there to prove that I can play. I mean, the NFL is a risk-reward league. If you want guys to put up Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady's number, you got to take, there are interceptions that's going to come along with that. He's not that elite quarterback yet. I'm not saying that he can't get there, but he's not that yet. But when you throw the ball, there's a downside, and any downside of a passing team is INTs.
Right.
But you have Ray Rice. He needs his touches. But Joe Flacco says, look, he can get his touches, but just allow me to throw the football and take whatever comes along with me. Sometimes you have to take the good along with the bad. I believe Joe Flacco is the guy for the Baltimore Ravens. He's the best quarterback they've ever had. We won a Super Bowl with a guy Trent, that was less than Joe Flacco. I'm not afraid to say that. Trent knows that. But they don't have that dominant defense. Defense, and I know, they said...
Or the tight end.
Yeah. Look, that defense that we had there, that's one of
was historic.
Yeah. And we might not have the subs. We didn't have a Nada, because Nada is the most dominant defensive tackle in football. But what we had was Sam Adams and Goose that fit perfectly in what we needed.
Sure.
We had a young Ray Lewis. We had Peter Bower, Michael McCray, Rob Burnett. We had guys, and we had a great rotation. We had Woody on the back end. We had a young Chris McAllister and Dwayne Stark. That was a legendary type defense.
And a great tight end.
I did okay. I was on the tail end. But if we had Joe Flacco, I think they keep that team together, and who knows, we might challenge for maybe 1 or 2 more Super Bowls. But hey, I believe Joe Flacco is the guy. I think they need to give him the contract extension, because don't run the risk of having him come back. He throws for 4,030 touchdowns, and now you take a $10 million quarterback to a $15, $16 million quarterback.
If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.